At exactly 7:30 p.m., the skies over Israel lit up. It was a massive, synchronized assault across the entire country, filling the air with the raw sound of sirens and incoming fire, forcing most of the population straight into bunkers. This strike didn't come from one direction. The attack converged from three distinct borders simultaneously. Hezbollah rockets launched from the north, Houthi drones swarmed from the south, and Iranian missiles drove straight through the center. This is a military tactic known as tactical saturation. You have drones, rockets, and heavy ballistic missiles all flying at completely different speeds, altitudes, and trajectories. The sheer volume and variety confuse modern air defense systems, forcing them to freeze up while calculating which threat to intercept first. Traditional defense networks like the famous Iron Dome are highly effective against single-layer threats, but they struggle to process this specific kind of chaotic, multi-layered assault. Because of this, Israel is actively pivoting its military strategy to rely on heavier alternatives. Looking at Benjamin Netanyahu standing next to this massive Arrow 3 missile, you get a sense of the sheer physical scale of this pivot. Israel's defense sector is operating around the clock, with government ministers injecting billions of shekels in emergency funding strictly to build out this indigenous Arrow interceptor program. Tactical saturation has evolved from an aerial threat into the master blueprint for how this entire regional war is being managed on the ground. To counter these strikes, the United States attempted to apply reverse saturation onto Iran. The goal was to open up completely new internal fronts to distract Iranian forces. Donald Trump laid out a highly specific ultimatum. If the critical Strait of Hormuz was compromised, the U.S. would begin striking Iranian power plants and basic infrastructure precisely at 8 p.m. Behind the scenes, the administration launched a covert plot. They approached anti-regime Iraqi Kurdish factions, offering to supply them with weapons and cash if they crossed the border to incite riots against Iran's Basij army. The Kurds refused the mission. They realized that without their own air defense systems, the U.S. could easily walk away, leaving them completely exposed to an immediate and devastating Iranian missile strike. To retaliate for their refusal, Trump went in front of the press and publicly claimed he had given the Kurds the weapons, but that they kept them for themselves. It was a deliberate lie to the media, entirely designed to make Iran paranoid enough to launch an attack on the Kurds anyway. When deploying direct military force carries too much risk, global superpowers rely on diplomatic saturation. They manufacture lies and manipulate proxies to artificially spark chaos within their enemies' borders. A direct, conventional war between these nations risks a devastating nuclear exchange. To avoid that absolute worst-case scenario, the axis of resistance shifted their focus directly to economic saturation. Iran established a strict eye for an eye doctrine. If the United States or Israel targets Iranian water supplies or power grids, Iran will exact the exact same toll on the infrastructure of their enemies' allies. To execute this doctrine, Iran started deploying naval-launched cruise missiles. Because these are fired from offshore ships and fly low to the water, they effectively bypass standard land-based radar, allowing them to precisely strike corporate and commercial targets. This sprawling, unshielded petrochemical facility shows exactly what those targets look like. In a recent wave of coordinated attacks, facilities in Bahrain and Kuwait, along with a massive industrial zone in Sharjah in the UAE, were all successfully hit. Now, Iran has placed the highest stakes economic asset in its crosshairs, a warning that they will completely wipe out OpenAI's planned $30 billion Stargate data center located in Abu Dhabi. When critical infrastructure becomes a weapon, neutral neighboring states see their GDP and technological future jeopardized by political disputes they didn't start. Looking at these mobilized, heavily armed Houthi rebels, you see the final layer of this regional saturation strategy. They have issued strict conditional ultimatums to the broader Arab world. The Houthi terms are clear. They will leave American ships alone and avoid striking Saudi assets, but only if the U.S. halts its strikes on Iran and Saudi Arabia stays completely out of the conflict. This cargo ship navigating the horizon perfectly illustrates the massive global leverage the Houthis hold. If their terms are broken, they threaten the immediate closure of the vital Bab el-Mandeb Strait and targeted strikes on Saudi oil pipelines. This creates complete political paralysis. Neutral Arab nations are essentially forced to quietly assist U.S. and Israeli intelligence behind closed doors, while publicly refusing to enter the war to guarantee their own self-preservation. Multi-front saturation has linked military actions directly to economic survival. In this regional standoff, a single miscalculation can trigger a collapse of neighboring economies and halt global supply chains.